this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Thinking about selling your car? Start with a real offer worth real money from CarMax. Then take 7 days to compare your offer, and when you're ready, accept your offer and get paid. CarMax will even pick up your car. That's it. No haggling, no hassles, no pressure. Just a real offer worth real money from CarMax. Get all the details and a real offer today at CarMax.com. Want to drive? CarMax. At-home pickup not available in all locations. Distance restrictions and a fee may apply.
I'm Glenn Washington, host of Snap Judgment, the award-winning storytelling podcast from KQED, and every week, Snap deals a new card, like jumping on Rihanna's private plane, or the accidental bank robber, or even the man who was swallowed by a hippo. What? Pick a card, any card. Snap Judgment from KQED, new episodes every Thursday, wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode's sponsored by Ridwell. Doing the right thing shouldn't be so hard, but when it comes to recycling, it often is. Ridwell makes it simple to recycle more from anywhere. With Ridwell, you can recycle plastic bags, snack wrappers, pill bottles, bottle caps, and other items your curbside bin doesn't take. And unlike most recycling programs, Ridwell carefully tracks where your items go and reports back on what actually gets recycled. Getting started is easy. Order a starter kit, fill the bags with hard-to-recycle items, send them back for free, and Ridwell takes care of the rest. Start today at ridwell.com.
Why should you listen to Armstrong and Getty on demand?
We're not boring. A lot of news is boring.
And tedious.
And depressing.
And makes you angry. You don't want to live your life like that.
Hey, I'm Jack Armstrong. He's Joe Getty.
We're Armstrong and Getty.
We try to bring you the truth.
And help you figure out this crazy modern world.
How about something about a comedic tone?
We have a winner.
Yes. Listen to Armstrong and Getty on demand on the iHeartRadio app,
Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It seems to me this is pretty good news.
It is good news, and I could not help but note that the annual rate of core CPI inflation, that's excluding food and energy, we want energy out of it because of the matter in Iran. Take that out, 2.5% in July. That's back to where it was prior to the start of the Iran conflict. This tells me that inflation is not spreading out beyond energy, beyond gasoline prices. Good news.
You're listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson.
Good Thursday morning. Nice to have you with us on the 47 Morning Update. And we've got two major stories coming out of the White House. The deep state, we are now learning, and the FBI labeled the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and the Attorney General, Bill Barr, as, quote, conduits of Russian disinformation. Just how corrupt was the deep state? We expose it all. Also, we have news coming out of Iran that the IRGC is now saying they want to prolong the war to outlast Donald Trump in office. So what does that mean for America's play? We'll have that for you as well. All right, now before we get to that, I got to talk to you about something that I'm having a blast playing with, and that is Kalshi. The elections are here, and the 2026 primaries, they're taking shape, and you can now trade the biggest political races on Kalshi. Now, on Kalshi, you can trade major primaries, election outcomes, and the biggest political stories as they happen. Let me give you an example of one of the races that I'm looking at, and that's the Texas Senate race right now. I can say that Ken Paxton, as I'm doing this, I believe he's going to win. If I put $100 on it, the odds is 48% chance. My max payout, November 3rd, 2027, $209.47. I love looking at these swing states. I love looking at Maine and Michigan, Ohio, and North Carolina. And you can do the same right now. Now, again, you can look at so many different elections. You can even get on the 2028 elections right now as well. One of the interesting ones is J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, AOC over Gavin Newsom. Who is going to have the 2028 U.S. presidential election winner? That is up there as well. You can even look at the VP nominee. It is a blast. Now, on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And the probability changes. You can buy in and out of your position. Now, I want you to download Kalshi app and use the code BEN. All right? If you use the code BEN, you get $20 when you trade $20. That's Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything. It's the 47 Morning Update, and it starts right now.
Story number 1.
In a shocking report, the Federal Bureau of Investigations allegedly labeled people such as the former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and the former Attorney General, Bill Barr, that would be the boss of the FBI, as conduits, quote-unquote, of Russian disinformation, according to this recent report. The report from Just the News revealed that a spreadsheet that was recovered from the U.S. intelligence agency files and that the White House Government Transparency Task Force made public, quote-unquote, contained names such as the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and former President Barack Obama, along with Pompeo and Barr. While people like Barr and Pompeo were labeled as, quote, conduits of Russian disinformation, people such as Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were labeled as targets. This is not a joke. A spreadsheet that was recovered from U.S. intelligence agency files and has now been made public Wednesday by the White House Government Transparency Task Force shows that spy agencies and the FBI created a list of more than 6 dozen prominent organizations, Americans or foreigners, who became figures in the Biden family Ukraine scandal and that the 2019 impeachment proceedings against President Donald Trump as well. Now, the spreadsheet, and again, this is not a joke, neatly divided figures along one issue. You ready for it? Political affiliations. In other words, political party lines. They had the Democrats, like the Bidens, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Barack Obama, George Soros, listed as victimized, quote-unquote, targets of Russian disinformation. And then the other side, the conservatives, the Republicans, groups like Fox News, One America News, even filmmaker Michael Caputo, and Donald Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, as, quote, conduits for disinformation. Even the late Senator Lindsey Graham and Representative Jim Jordan were also labeled, quote, conduits. An administration official explained to the outlet that the labeling of people as either a conduit or a target of disinformation was reportedly part of a secret counterintelligence operation, codename Round River. It was launched, apparently, during the 2020 election cycle. Now, the report from the outlet also noted that an FBI letter that's now been made public showed that the FBI had identified at least 14 different informants who were, quote, providing derogatory information on the Bidens. In other words, this was a political hit list, a political enemies list, a list of Republicans that the deep state wanted to target and silence. Now, in the letter to the White House Government Transparency Task Force, the FBI Director Kash Patel also stated that the FBI was, quote, investigating whether the Foreign Influence Task Force, known as FITF, used information learned from the Round River assessment to undermine or influence ongoing investigations. The FBI Director Patel also said the task force was terminated on his watch. Now, there were also other internal reviews of the FITF, and they're not yet complete, we've been told. We know that the investigation used information learned from the Round River assessment, and the real question that everyone needs to be asking now is this. Was the FITF using information that was learned from the Round River assessment to then undermine or then influence ongoing investigations by only focusing on the subset of confidential human sources involving the Bidens? That is what Patel reportedly has said in the letter. Now, if you take a step back and you say, okay, so what does this actually mean? What it means is that our government apparently was having lists that were put together. One list to say that if you're a Democrat, we automatically are going to treat you like you are a victim. and then our job is to protect you. And the other list, which is if you were a conservative or a Republican, including a news organization like Fox News, then you were the target. You were the one that was pushing the propaganda against the, quote, Democrats, and so therefore you should be investigated. This is the most shocking list that we've seen to date because it showed as those they believed were friends of Russia, those that were advocates of what they described as Russian disinformation campaigns to influence America. The people on that list that the deep state was going after were people like the Secretary of State and the man who is the Attorney General Bill Barr of the United States of America. And what's even more shocking than that is the people that were, quote, doing the investigation, who were putting these people on the list, were supposed to be serving the people that were on this list. You talk about the deep state. You talk about the swamp. You talk about those that were fighting against Donald Trump and other conservatives. This is exactly what we thought was happening, and now we have the data, the receipts, the emails, the lists that are being made public. The question now is, who was creating the list? Are those people still in our government? And will there be accountability for this? That is the question so many Americans are asking. And based on this being released now, there's a very good chance that we're headed towards that type of accountability.
Next, story number 2.
We now have some breaking news that a top advisor to the commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard is now saying that Tehran could deliberately prolong its war with the United States of America in an effort to outlast President Donald Trump, as Washington now doubles down on a, quote, wall of steel naval blockade that the U.S. and Israeli officials say is steadily worsening the Islamic Republic's economic crisis. Quote, one way is to prolong the war until we get the next term of the presidency and cause attrition so that if anyone else wants to attack Iran, they will know there is a cost. That is what the Brigadier General told PBS in a rare interview that was published on Tuesday. Now, the longtime senior IRGC figure who served as the force's coordinating deputy from 19 to 2025 and now serves as a senior advisor to its commander, laid out the potential strategy as Iran's newly reshuffled military leadership increasingly prepares for a prolonged confrontation, as they described it, with Washington, and specifically with Donald Trump. Quote, we have to obtain deterrence so that the enemy never dares to attack us, so we can live with security. Now, this general went on to argue that time would favor Tehran, claiming the conflict has given Iran valuable experience fighting the United States, while exposing the American military as, quote, weaker than what we perceived. The longer this war lasts, the more experience we gain, is what the IRGC official said. He added that Iran had never previously experienced a war that allowed it to learn firsthand how to fight the United States, but claimed that in these 5 months, we have learned how. Yet again, clearly showing that this is something they're using as massive propaganda. Here's more of that interview.
No, we have not yet reached our final objective. This is clear. Up until now, we are victorious. In the future, we will continue to be victorious. The longer this war lasts, the more experience we gain. We had never seen a real war to gain real experience, to learn how to fight with America. In these 5 months, we have learned how. We have also seen how the American military is weaker than what we perceived.
Now, this is clearly not only propaganda that's going to the people in Iran, but also to the world. The White House, by the way, answered the proposed attrition strategy with a blunt warning to Tehran, saying, quote, it would be wise for Iran to agree to a deal, the White House told PBS in response to their interview, saying, quote, otherwise they know what will happen. Now, this proposal to try to outlast Trump runs directly against a strategy that President Trump has increasingly embraced: maintain overwhelming military leverage around Iran while allowing the blockade, frozen assets, sanctions, and Tehran's mounting economic problems to steadily tighten the pressure. Quote, the USA has total control over the Strait of Hormuz. I think we will keep it, Donald Trump declared on Truth Social, saying our naval blockade is being called by everyone a wall of steel, and there is nothing Iran can do about it. Now, President Trump was not finished there. He went on to say they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, their remaining soldiers are unpaid. The IRGC is decimated and fleeing, and their leadership, quote unquote, is uncertain at best. They have no money. Their country is shot. All they have is fake news and 300% inflation, and getting worse. Iran is all talk and no action. The bully of the Middle East is no longer. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. That was his latest True Social tweet. Now, all of this rhetoric coming from the IRGC commander who did this interview comes after we learned the bigger story that the Iranian government was apparently trying to assassinate Donald Trump yet again, and there was a major threat against the president on Air Force One. Now, that story was obviously one that was breaking while they were deciding to do this interview with PBS. And let me remind you of some of those details. The reporting came in from Fox.
With the very latest. Hey, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. It's a story that has captured the world attention this week. A threat by the Iranian regime on President Trump's life in Turkey last month. The Wall Street Journal reports it was actually Israeli intelligence that tipped off the administration to a specific danger. The report explains the sourcing on this information, saying the U.S. official said Israel briefed the Trump administration on the intelligence, which included a threat to use shoulder-to-air missiles to target Air Force One. Ultimately, the president was reportedly moved from Air Force One to another plane using a catering truck. Fox has not independently confirmed that detail.
Mr. President, can you tell us about your ride on the airport catering truck in Turkey? Why did you need to do that?
Well, it's only up to Secret Service. I just follow what they'd like to do. So I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane, equal safety, but they wanted me to do it, so I do it. I do what they say.
President Trump yet again there saying, hey, I'm not giving you the exact story that you want me to confirm, but stating, yes, he did go on a different plane. So you look at all of this and you see where we are now. It is very clear the president's putting maximum pressure on Iran, doing everything he can to chokehold their economy. Inflation is now at 300% or more. And the Iranian IRGC radicals are saying they want to try to wait out the president. That would be a very long 2+ years. The president saying he wants to get this deal done, but he will continue to use maximum pressure to do everything he can to have Iran's leadership fold.
Thank you for listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. Please make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. And for more in-depth news, also subscribe to the Ben Ferguson podcast, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
This episode's sponsored by Ridwell. Doing the right thing shouldn't be so hard, but when it comes to recycling, it often is. Ridwell makes it simple to recycle more from anywhere. With Ridwell, you can recycle plastic bags, snack wrappers, pill bottles, bottle caps, and other items your curbside bin doesn't take. And unlike most recycling programs, Ridwell carefully tracks where your items go and reports back on what actually gets recycled. Getting started is easy. Order a starter kit, fill the bags with hard-to-recycle items, send them back for free, and Ridwell takes care of the rest. Start today at ridwell.com.
Why should you listen to Armstrong and Getty on demand?
We're not boring. A lot of news is boring.
And tedious.
And depressing.
And makes you angry. You don't want to live your life like that.
Hey, I'm Jack Armstrong. He's Joe Getty.
We're Armstrong and Getty.
We try to bring you the truth.
And help you figure out this crazy modern world.
How about something about a comedic tone?
We have a winner.
Yes. Listen to Armstrong and Getty on demand on the iHeartRadio app,
Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.